Yo, what's going on, fam? Josh, what's going on? Denny, what's going on? So, perfect. Let me get a one, by the way, from everyone watching right now, if you can hear me well. I'm going to break down how I did this, how I made $250,000 this year as a college dropout, didn't go to college, fired from my previous employer, and still made $250,000 my first year in business, not taking out a loan, not putting myself in debt, all of that other stuff. What's up, Melinda? So drop a one in the comments if you can hear me clearly, because I don't have my earbuds in, and it's kind of a little bit more of an open space. So let me know. Put a one in the comments if you can. So this way I just know everyone can hear me. But so I'm going to get into exactly how I did this, how you can do this, and how literally so easy it is to do on the internet. Because if you're trying to make money on the internet, you can't do it now, odds are you'll probably never do it because it's the easiest time ever to do it. Thanks, Belinda. That's awesome. I can hear me. Let me scoot this back because it is a little bit not all in the frame. So, boom. Is that better? I think that looks better. So, anyway, we're going to break this down right now. Like this video so we can 1.5. Thanks, Josh. I'm going to heart my own video. So let me break down how I did this. I'm going to jump right into it because that's just how I like to do my lives. Let me first make sure this is refocused. This is only going to be like 15-minute video tops. Yeah, I like the way that looks. By the way, if you guys want to know the secrets behind how I set up my backend automation to make what you're going to see here more effective, I got thisbook.com secrets, and I'll give it to you guys for free. You just have to pay shipping, and I'll put a link in my description so this way you can get this book for free. And so yeah, you can do that. But let me break down how I did this from step one, because the way this started for me is that I lost my job back in October of 2017, and the way it worked is that I had to find a way to not only supplement my income, like I could show you my tax return over there. I only worked there for 9 months last year, obviously, because I left in going into Q4, and it shows on that receipt that I made $80,000 or $77,000 in 9 months working for my previous employer. So I would have made $100,000 working there that last year. So I had to find a way to start a business. I had no credit. My credit score was around 512, or so. So I couldn't get a loan. I didn't have really any resources. I lost the majority of my friends, and my family wanted me to take a job, didn't take the job. So I had to find a way to start a business, supplement $100,000 in income, and do it without having any resources and no funding. So I'm going to show you how I did that. All right, so number one, I created 2 stacks of cards, okay? And these are stacks of cards. And if you can see, my drawings are very good. I'm going to put stack number 1 and stack number 2. Now, what I did is I'm going to put cons first, I'm going to put pros. So what I needed to do was figure out first my identity. And what I mean by that is I had to first figure out what were other people saying about me. Like, what wasn't I doing right in everyone else's eyes? Like, what did they see me as? A type of person, skill set, etc. So I took a stack of note cards and I wrote down everything that was, okay? And then in another stack, I wrote down everything that people said I was, all the positives, everything I knew I was, okay? And what I decided to do is I took these right here, okay? And then I went and started. You guys probably know what this is, but I went and started I'm going to put this way over here. I went and started a YouTube channel. And then I went and started a brand new Facebook page. So these are the two things, and I started an Instagram. So I started a brand new YouTube page, brand new Facebook page, brand new Instagram. Now, what you're used to hearing is that I can't do that right now, Rob, because it's too saturated and I don't have anything that people are going to want to listen to. I don't have anything I could teach anybody. So that's typically what we hear as a response to trying to start out on the internet. People think it's too saturated, but the reality of saturation is that it actually doesn't exist. So saturation in the majority of people's minds, and by definition, is a lot of something in one specific topic, right? So it's an influx of something in one specific topic. So what's cool about that, and the reason why it's such a positive, it can make such a positive impact on your business and you, is because the majority of that saturation is numbers, okay? So let me give you an example. Every year, the Patriots win the Super Bowl for the most part, okay? So in their minds, Okay, this is a really, really high level cognitive dishonest type of psychology. But the way it works is in their mind, they believe that there's other teams in the NFL, but they're just numbers. Okay, the only true winners in the game are the Patriots, and that's how they think. Okay, they also have a lot of strategy behind what they do, and obviously a lot of best practices that they've executed on. But at the end of the day, it starts with mindset. Okay, that's the root of all your success. And in their mind, all these other teams are just numbers that they have to get through so they can get the trophy again. So, in other words, for you coming in and starting out, it doesn't matter what your niche is, doesn't matter what your topic is, doesn't matter what you're going to be able to learn, what I'm going to show you here right now, and how I was able to build up this much content that's been able to, you know, make me a few $100,000 this year at 27 years old as a college dropout. So you don't need to be super great at something, and you definitely don't need to worry about everyone else in your space because they're just numbers, right? And even if they aren't just numbers and they really are really, really good at what they do, in your mind, they need to just be a number because it's going to eliminate any type of intimidation and any type of fear, all right, that you have, because now you can go into doing something that you love and do it wholeheartedly. So here's what I did. I took the cons and the pros, and then I went and started these pages. And the next thing I did is I went ahead and I took all of these things here, and I'm going to branch it down. So what I did is I then created subtopics, okay? And in these subtopics, I wrote everything down. And the way it worked, right, was going to be right here. So let's start with the pros. Okay, some of the pros were I was a great dad, okay? Another pro is that I was great at sales, okay? So these are just 2 pros so far, and that I was also motivational, okay? So these are just a few of the pros that I wrote down on those cards. Now over here, I was obsessive. Okay, you guys like the joke here? I put 3 L's under college because you don't really need to know shit to be great at something. I know I'm really bad at grammar. I'm really bad at spelling. I'm really bad at math. I'm really bad at science. I'm horrible at history. My geography is god awful, and yet I still make more than the majority of CEOs in the entire country. So I'm gonna put, and I own a small business, guys. Like, I just now hired 18 employees. Like, before now, I had me and like VAs, really. And like I said, now I'm gonna have 8 in-house employees and 10 virtual employees selling for my online programs. You say one thing, then it cuts out. Say something else. Oh shoot, the video's messed up. Okay, it's probably because I keep turning away. So I'll wait to talk until I'm facing this way. So thanks for letting us know, Melinda. Thanks, appreciate it. All right, so here's what I did first, is I came over here and I wrote these 3 things down, okay? And over here I wrote, so I was obsessive, okay? I was too big of a risk taker. And down here, just another one. I was too, like, we'll just say, aggressive in my approach. Now, let me explain why these are all major positives, okay? Now, the majority of people, whenever they get down on themselves, they feed on the negativity, and then what happens is that starts to root, right? It starts to plant a seed in your brain, and then all of a sudden in your mind and your psyche, and now all of a sudden, all you can think of is negativity, right? And that's contagious. Just like positivity is contagious, negativity is more contagious because it's so much easier to defer to, okay? So it's kind of like whenever you try to go do something, it's a lot easier to find a reason not to do something than it is to find a reason to go do something. That's why you need, I got this from Akbar Sheikh, you need a why that can make you cry, okay? Because if you can wake up or you can think about that why and it's so heavy on your heart that you literally can start to get emotional about it, that's gonna be your driving force, okay? That's gonna be what pushes you to be able to continue to move forward with things that seem impossible, okay? So here's what I did next. After creating the 2 sets of cards, what I did is I created subtopics. I have all of these things written down on these cards now, right? And then I went over here and I took this, and let's just say I did great dad, okay? I create subtopics to that topic, okay? So I would come here, here, and here. Now, I wrote down great dad, and then if I were to go back now, guys, and do this internet thing, and I went into a different type of niche instead of digital marketing. Even though I'm great at digital marketing, I would go into parenting, right? And I would talk about being a parent. So I love being a parent, and I really enjoy the things that I do with my kids. So I would do everything I've done now in my marketing business in a parenting business. And I would write down everything here. So you talk about, awesome. That's good, Melinda. That's awesome. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna talk about food. We're gonna talk about mindset. Okay, we're gonna talk about feeling or connection. And that could actually have subtopics on its own. So what I would do is I start creating subtopics of that topic, and then I would go in and start creating content around each of those things, because just with food, guys, with food, I could create different topics on food for kids and being a great dad and saying, here's what happens when I kept feeding my kids sugar. Here's what happens when I try to start feeding them healthy food after they were eating all that sugar, and how hard it was to get them to transition to doing it more frequently. How long did that take? What did that do for their lifestyle? How did that make them feel differently? What kind of energy did that provide them? How did that affect them emotionally in our relationships from parent to child? So all these things that I just mentioned all fall under food, okay? Or mindset. I would write everything about mindset, how every morning when I drop my kids off, I give them words of aspiration, right? So we reaffirm aspirations. I say, hey, who's the man? Who's gonna have a great day? And I go into all these different things that I say to them, and then before I put them to bed, I always tell them who's gonna change the world, okay? Who's the man? Who's gonna change the world? Okay, who's my little girl? Who's my princess? And I say that to my daughter, and then who's gonna change the world? I make sure they both say it out loud. My daughter used to just nod her head, okay? But I make sure that I keep saying it until she says, I am, okay? Because it's affirmation. When you say it out loud and you hear it, it completely changes your mindset. So these are all things I would do under mindset, okay? And then over here, under connection, I would talk about different ways that if they're really mad, how we're still able to connect. Do I give them room, right? Do I give them room to be able to, gather their thoughts, to be able to calm down a little bit? How soon do I go into the room to talk to them, to be able to say, hey, do you want to talk about it? And they say, no, okay, well, I'm here when you're ready to talk. Okay, things like that would be to help connection. Or disengagement, right? Is whenever kids act out as a result of not having enough attention from their parents, right? In the sense of and here's the thing, this is why I would love to go into the parenting niche, but a lot of parents think that, and this is a problem with husbands too, and I know because we're boyfriends or husbands or fiancés, and this used to be me, so that's how I know, but you used to provide for your spouse or whatever, and used to think that that's giving them attention. That's a big problem with men in America. And the problem is you think because you provide a home, a car, food on the table, all that kind of stuff, that you're actually giving them attention and being there for them. But that's not the same thing. So disengagement is actually, so every time I pick my kids up now as an example, I'll ask my son, did you learn any new songs today? Did you play any new sports? Did you make any new friends? What did your teachers teach you today? What was your favorite topic? What was the hardest thing for you to learn today? So I ask them all these things, so this way I can engage with him. And even though they might be a little bit annoyed at first, they respect you for it, okay? And they know that you're there for them. They know that you're listening to them. And anyway, so that's how I would create all this content around this subtopic. And then from those pieces of content, here's what I do. I take that content, okay, I create PDFs. Now, here's what I really love about the internet and education, because right now it's the hottest thing, okay? It's the hottest thing right now pretty much on the internet, where selling information is so valuable, right? I think colleges are actually, as much as I think they're the biggest scam, I think they're genius, because if you think about it, you're paying somebody like $60,000 to teach you the basics of a bunch of different topics without any guarantee that you're going to be able to find a job that's going to pay you a mediocre salary so you can just get by. Can you imagine it's just, honestly, as much as I think it's a scam, I think it's freaking brilliant, because it's become such a staple in America that people have normalized it. Because if I were to walk up to somebody on the street and say, I have an amazing opportunity for you, guy, here's the thing, you give me $60,000 today, and I promise to teach you the basics of 12 different topics. I won't guarantee you'll make your money back, and if you do, it's going to take you roughly a decade, and you're going to have to live paycheck to paycheck, and then hopefully you invest properly so then you can start living in abundance, but there's no guarantee. Do I have your investment? They would be like, get the F out of here, right? So, but what's really cool about college is they've normalized it. So it's okay to pay that kind of money to colleges, and people are accepting of it. So whenever you're coming over here with niche-specific information, aka vocational topics, what I love about this is that people can learn, get the quick wins from this stuff, because it's free, right? And these are related to this stuff here, okay? So you're taking all of your, this is how I did with digital marketing. I don't want to go into sales and marketing because I'm already doing it, right? I want to show you guys how I would do it again, and I would still become, make a few $100,000 starting a brand new company in a totally different niche, and it's just really that easy, is that I would come over here and I would take my when I say it's easy, it still takes a lot of work, right? You have to build out systems and build out collateral, but in terms of like, it's easier money than it is to be able to go work for somebody and try to make $250,000, right? So what I would do is I would take these subtopics, I would then create downloadable PDFs with quick wins, okay? These are the foods that you can give your kids in order for them to be able to have increased energy and focus more in school and be more athletic on the field, okay? Or you can even narrow that down more, and these are the foods that you would give your son if you want him to be more athletic so he can then make the starting A team for his youth league, okay? It would be that specific. My son plays football and I coach his team and stuff. He made some touchdowns, pretty proud of him, but that's why I would choose that topic specifically. Because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Literally, I got the coaching t-shirt in my closet. So anyway, I would create the PDFs, and then from there, when people download that PDF, I'm going to put download. I don't know if you guys can read this, but download. I understand it's one word, but it's a little easier to read like that. And I would create something paid, okay? It would be a paid piece of content. Now, here's what I would do for this, okay? This right here is going to be a $97 item, all right? And this is something new that we did. This is how I launched my initial program called Agency in a Box, which we now make, it does really, really well. We average like 20 to 30 grand a month on just that one product. And what I would do right now is, this is how I would do it again, or how I did it before. I would create a $97 product, right? So when people download this, there's going to be a link, okay? And it's going to be a link underneath the PDF that after they've read all these quick wins, they could then go and get this paid offer, okay? So after they download this, okay, this PDF right here is then going to send them to a thank you page that I use ClickFunnels, okay? It sends them to a thank you page that allows them the opportunity to be able to follow you on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And then you're also tracking their visit to your thank you page so you could then show ads to them later, okay, on, again, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then Google if you do it properly. So they would download this link, and now they have this on their computer. After they read all the quick wins, they're going to click this link, and it's going to send them to my paid offer for $97. Now, here's what happens next, okay? Inside of this paid offer, okay, we are going to offer them one more thing, okay? See if you can read this. This is called Sorry, I forgot I need to talk to the phone, so hold on a second. I'm going to write this down. I'll show you. Okay? Here's exactly how within 90 days I would go back to making, again, $10,000 a month, and then I would scale that up to $50,000 a month like I did with my business now. So here's how this works. Here's exactly how I did it with Agency in a Box, and this is how I would do it with parenting too. And I wish I could go into this niche. I just don't have any time. We're scaling so quickly, but I would love to do it. So anyway, from these topics, I create a free PDF. People download it. They can click on a link after they love the content because it's quick wins on this free piece of information they've downloaded, specifically for one topic. Here's an example. What foods to give your son so he can be on the A team for his youth football league. See how specific that is? So, and then you would only parents that have sons that are in the youth league will download it. Very, very specific, which you could then put videos on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram and have links under those videos so people can download this free piece of content. You don't even pay for ads, okay? So you come over here, they download it. When they see this link at the bottom of that PDF, they click it, and it sends them to a $97 product. Now, what would that product be? It would need to be congruent to whatever this is. And congruent means that it's the same thing that adds to another product, similar to if you were to buy a jacket for winter and then you buy gloves to match. Okay, they're congruent, or then you buy boots, or then you buy a scarf. Those are congruent products. So what I would do here is, if I'm focusing on food here, I would probably then upsell something to where you could say different ways that you could make home-cooked meals in 10 minutes or less, and exactly how to be able to move your schedule around so you could have dinner with your kids more, and this way you build a stronger connection, which gives them a better relationship with you, makes them happier, and thus they perform even better on the field. Okay, so I would create a series of videos, and I would put those videos inside of this $97 product, which I also use ClickFunnels for. If you don't know what that is and you're not sure, I'll include a link for that too after this video is over, along with the link to this book that taught me all my back-end systems for automation. So anyway, I would create this inside of this program. Okay, inside of this program here, when they get this, I'm then going to have a link. Okay, and this link is going to be to pre-enroll for a $3,000 product, okay, that only opens up, like, it would either be like $1,000 to $3,000, right? But I open it up every 60 days, okay? So it'll be a 60-day program, and then I open it up every 60 days, okay? And you allow X amount of people in it. Now, what's going to happen is this is going to cause what's called crowd fire, all right? So you're going to be able to put like a timer or something like that to be able to create the scarcity and say we only allow 25 people in this program. It opens up again in March. It'd be 60 days, yeah. So it opens up again in March, and we're only going to allow 25 people in. Well, guys, if you're charging $3,000, which is what I charge now for my program, or it's $5,000 now, but it used to be $3,000. So if you're charging $3,000, that's where you'd want to start. And you only have 25 people in there, you're making $75,000 every 60 days. Because remember, you're going to have hundreds of people go to this page right here. If you're putting out your free content properly on each of these different platforms, and you're using each of these platforms properly, so then I would have this link here, I'll have a few hundred people in here, and they all fill out a survey. They're pre-qualified, okay? So as they're pre-qualified, what I would do is I could call them if I want to, right? It's fun to keep $75,000 every 60 days, but what I would do instead is I would bring on a couple people that are representatives of my company, all right? And they would hop on a call with the people that have pre-enrolled. So let's say that you have 200 pre-enrollments, which right now I have I think it's like 170 something, 170 and change for pre-enrollments on my Fortune Accelerator, which I charge $5,000 for. I'm opening it back up in March. So we're not even in January, and I have over 170 people pre-enrolled. I'm only gonna let 25 in, okay? So just to let you know, if you're curious what I would make, what I'm gonna make in March, times 25, I'll make $125,000 in March on that one program. That's not including my agency in a box, my actual agency generating sales, or my sales course that I'm doing with Temple. So we'll make roughly like between 300 and 500 grand in March, just in 1 month, right? By doing this process. So anyway, so they're gonna pre-enroll, and then you would have your team call them, okay? Because you already have everyone's name listed down, all of their answers figured out. So your team is gonna call them, and then what's gonna happen is they are going to sell them on the phone on your $3,000 program, which is where you would wanna start it, right? That opens up every 60 days. So they're gonna sell them, and you pay those people like $500 to $1,000 per sale. If you let 25 people in and only one person's doing all the work and he's a really good, or she's a really good closer, that's $500 times 25. That person's gonna make $12,500 every 60 days for literally calling people that want to jump into your program and have pre-enrolled and fill out this survey. So I mean, literally, it's the easiest work in the world if somebody wants to make like 60 grand a year and pretty much not have to work very hard, right? So it's a win for them, it's a win for you, because then you still take away 2,500 times times 25. So you'll still take away $62,000 every 60 days, and you'll pay out $12,500 every 60 days, and then you'll just open and close it. So doing this strategy, you would make roughly 60,000 times 6. So it'd be roughly $360,000. And this stuff, you would use whatever money you made here to start running ads, right, to this PDF, okay? Because now you've created a system, okay? This is how I would do it again. So this year I spent roughly $25,000 between mentors and ads, okay? So what I would do now, if I were you guys, any money you make, put back into your business. And what I'm showing you here, people pay a lot of money to learn. So this is an overview, really, because you want to learn how to use these platforms, you want to learn how to create this, you want to learn how to be able to put this together, you want to learn the sophistication of this. So all that stuff is back-end stuff, right? But basically what you want to do is set it up this way. So let me start back from the beginning, because this is how I would do it again. This is how I did it the first time. This is how I made 250 grand. And it's really that simple, right? So let me just break it down again. So over here, you're going to create two separate sets of cards. You're going to create one stack of card and then another stack of card. Another stack of cards. The first stack of cards is everything that people say about you that's negative, all the cons, okay? Because those are going to really help you in the long run. And then another stack of cards of everything people say about you that's positive, okay? Because that's also going to help you in the long run. And what you're going to do is this. You're going to create subtopics of each of those, okay? And what you can do with the negative stuff is you could use this in your story. Because let me tell you something right now. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. Let me finish this first. So you're going to create topics from each of those cards and then create subtopics for each of those topics on the cards. From there, you're going to create free downloadable PDFs, which, yes, you heard me right, PDFs, which you could then put on a Word doc and literally just turn it into a PDF. That's all it is. That's all the free info is. And then maybe if you're really good at graphic design, which I'm not, if you download any of my stuff, it's shitty in the terms of graphic design, but the content is fucking magical, okay? So you would do that. You don't have to be great at graphic design. I actually use Word and then turn it into a PDF. So you would create the PDFs. Inside of the PDF, there will be a downloadable link to go buy a $97 product. This is a product where you give them videos to show them how to do something a little bit more in depth that is congruent, remember, which is like buying a jacket and then buying matching gloves and a matching hat, okay? Congruent to whatever this free information is. And then on this $97 product, you're then going to give them the opportunity to pre-enroll for your $3,000 product, $1,000 to $3,000 product that you will open and close every 60 days. And it requires them to fill out a survey to make sure that they are really serious about it, okay? And then from there, every 60 days, you're going to have one person call those few hundred leads that fill out a survey and then sell them that $1,000 to $3,000 product. And then you pay them roughly, like if it's $3,000, pay like $500, which is roughly, what is that, 15% or so of the sale. And then you would keep the difference. See how that works? If you follow this recipe, between this, which will make you roughly $300,000 a year. And guys, the reason I didn't make $1 million this year is because I didn't know this thoroughly, okay? I had to pay a lot of money to learn this stuff, okay? I actually spent $15,000 in mentors and $10,000 in ads this year. So my first year in business to figure this stuff out properly. So I'm giving you the overview of the formula. So you would do all of this. That's the only reason I wasn't a millionaire my first year in business. I will be next year. We'll do I promise you we'll do anywhere from $1 to $3 million, depending on how focused we can stay and how much I decide to travel. So preferably going to stay focused, but for the most part, kind of, sort of. Anyway, so all of this here is how you can go in with no college degree, okay, and to be able to have skeletons in the closet, which I'll come back to this in a sec, and still be able to make, even if you got fired, even if you don't have the best background, and still make a few $100,000 on the internet in your very first year, just like I did, okay? So let me explain to you why this is important too, and why you want to write this down, because these are going to create your story, okay? And if you cannot be true to your story, you will never connect with people, okay? And the reason why is because vulnerability Let me be very clear. Vulnerability is a direct line to empathy. Okay? The more vulnerable you are with who you are, which means that you can speak to it, the more you're going to be able to empathize with other people's situations, whether it's yours or a greater or lesser in your head, right? Scenario. Okay? And empathy, when you really have that and you can put yourself in those people's shoes, is the only time that you can truly understand people. Okay? And the sooner that you get that down, the sooner that you are willing to own up to your story, is the minute that you then begin to write your own ending without having to be a subject of your story. All right? You get to write it. So other people are going to want to get involved in what you have to say, and you're going to move them, okay? And then push them in the right direction. So if you guys have any questions for me, you can ask them now, but that is all I wanted to go over today. I do have to get ready to get some work done before I hop on a couple calls today. But go ahead and ask me any questions. I'll answer them now. I hope that, drop me a 2 in the comments if you guys got anything out of this. If you guys got anything out of this today, drop a 2 in the comments just so I know that everybody did receive some value out of this video. And I'll do more videos like this. I know I haven't been really able to lately, but like I said, I just hired 18 people, and we're just making sure all the systems are in place before January, because that's when we launch everything new. So we're pretty in the trenches right now. And when I say hired 18 people, I mean like that's 10 people that we manage online. One person, his name's D, if you don't know him, he is managing a team of 10 people online for me. So he's my head manager, head of sales there. And then Temple manages a team of 6 sales reps here. And then we have an executive assistant. Very, very, very exciting stuff. But if you have any questions, ask them now. Drop a 2 if you got some value out of this, and exactly how as a college dropout, right, with the not so clean background stories, and you guys have probably read my post about my stories, is still able to make a few $100,000 my first year in business. Okay? And if you say it to yourself every morning, like, I will make $100,000, and it doesn't sound realistic, or I will attend every single one of my kids' games and never miss it, and it doesn't sound realistic, or I will get that promotion at work, and it doesn't sound realistic, it's because you do not understand yourself, your true potential, your vulnerability. And once you figure that stuff out, being able to say these words of affirmation to yourself every morning become more real, become more realistic, okay? And then before you know it, the action you're taking, intuition, by the way, intuition is just a compilation of experience and wisdom, okay? So your intuition, which is your gut feeling, is going to take over based on whatever that influence is, that majority influence that you are then consuming. And that's going to be whenever you're able to actually start to take the right action without having to think so much about it. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to hop off here and get ready to take care of some stuff. But this sweater is actually really warm. There's like holes in it, but it's actually really, really hot. So probably going to take this sweater off too. But all right, have an awesome week, guys. I'm actually going to repurpose this on YouTube. I promise I will put the book. If you want the .com Secrets book, I'll give you it for free. I think you just need to pay shipping, which is pretty fair. This book helped me with all my systems. And then if you want to use the platform I use for the paid stuff, for people to buy the stuff that I sell, I'll put a link in there too, so you can actually get a trial and just like navigate around and play around with it. So this way you could have that option too if you guys want to try to figure this stuff out. But all right, I'll catch you guys later and see ya.